And here you have it, an egg and double bacon cheeseburger on a carnivore bun. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in and welcome back to another episode of Carnivore Kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make an egg and double bacon cheeseburger on a carnivore bun. But before I start, you guys know the drill. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, ding ding ding. And if you don't want to watch the entire video, I will be including timestamps in the description so you can skip ahead to the step that you need. Now, before we actually get started with the recipe, what exactly are we going to need? Well, first we are going to need a skillet to fry up the egg in. I'm going to be using a ceramic skillet. You could use either cast iron, ceramic, whatever you want. The reason I like to use the ceramic is it's a little bit easier to clean up and it also doesn't make as much of a mess. So that's why I'm going to be using that one. Next, we are going to need an egg. We're also going to need 2 bowls, one to separate the egg yolk from the egg white. We will need some MCT oil or butter to spray in the skillet. We will also need some Himalayan sea salt. You don't have to use Himalayan sea salt. Me personally, I prefer the Himalayan sea salt because it does have all of its minerals intact, whereas if you're using bleached white table salt, all it is sodium chloride and it's been stripped of all its companion elements. Whereas with the pink Himalayan sea salt, it still has all of its elements intact. While it is 98% sodium and chloride, the remaining 2% is going to have all of those great minerals like your magnesium, sodium, potassium, and all those great electrolytes. Next, we are going to need a carnivore bun. The burger bun, this is going to be the burger bun from last week that I showed you guys how to make. If you guys did not see that video, I will include a link right up over here. That way you can click on that and watch how to make the burger bun. We will also need some Pecorino Romano cheese and some powdered blue cheese. And then, of course, since we are making burgers, we are going to need some burger patties. I'm going to be using these chopped sirloin burgers from Brooker's Natural Meats. And we will also need some bacon. I have 2 strips of bacon and I have pre-cut them in half. You don't have to cut them in half, but me personally, I'm doing that just to make it a little bit easier to put on the actual burger bun. We will also need a knife to cut our burger bun. We will need a fork to mix up our egg and cheese concoction. And we will need a spoon to scoop up the powdered blue cheese. And lastly, we will need 2 spatulas. We will need 1 spatula to flip the burgers and 1 spatula to flip the eggs. And now that we have everything that we need, time to get ready. First thing we're gonna do is go ahead and preheat these skillets. You don't have to do this is an optional step. However, I like to preheat the skillet before I put the egg on the actual skillet because I find that by preheating the skillet, it just makes it for a little bit easier and the egg doesn't stick to the pan at all. Now, again, you do not have to do this step. It is an optional step, but I would encourage you to do it because it will come out a lot better. Now that we have our skillet preheated, next we're going to go outside, fire up the grill, and preheat the grill. To preheat the grill, we are going to put everything on high heat, and we are going to close up the lid and leave it for about 8 minutes. Once 8 minutes has passed, it should be between 500 to 600 degrees. And that is just the way we like it. So we're just gonna come back here in about 8 minutes and put the burgers on the grill. Now that the grill is fired up, it's gonna take about 8 minutes to get to the temperature that we want. Ideally, I like to get the grill to get to about 500 to 600 degrees. Once it gets to that, I'm gonna lower the burners and then put the burgers on. But since it is going to take about 8 minutes, we're gonna use this time now to make our cheese sauce. For the cheese sauce, we're gonna take our egg. We are going to separate the whites from the yolks. And if you've seen any of my videos in the past, one of the reasons why I like to separate the egg whites from the egg yolks is because personally I just like the way it tastes better when you do separate it. It is an optional step that you do not need to take, however it does come out a lot better. And as an added bonus, when you do separate egg whites from the egg yolk, by cooking the egg white and leaving the egg yolk raw, it's going to be a little bit healthier because the problem that a lot of people have, they have this misconception with cholesterol, and a few things worth noting with cholesterol is 1, cholesterol is self-regulated in the body, so the more you consume, the less your body's going to produce. If you don't consume any, your body's going to produce more. The other misconception is there's a huge genetic component with cholesterol issues, so if you don't have family history of cholesterol issues or if you don't have cholesterol issues yourself, it's not really something that you need to be worried about. And third of all, is cholesterol itself is not really the problem. The problem is with oxidized cholesterol, and the way we oxidize cholesterol is by cooking the egg yolk. So by keeping the yolk runny, that is going to be one way that we are going to avoid oxidizing the cholesterol in the yolk. But anyway, back to the recipe. I'm going to go ahead and put salt in the egg white and egg yolk mixture. I'm going to put 1 turn for every single egg that is in here. So I have 1 egg, that's going to be 1 turn in the egg whites, and 1 turn in the egg yolks. Now that we have that all salted, next we have to take the Pecorino Romano cheese. This one over here, you can kind of eyeball it. I like to put about 1 tablespoon of Pecorino Romano cheese. If you prefer your eggs more on the light and fluffy side, like thick and fluffy, then you could add more. If you prefer more compact and dense, then you can add a little bit less cheese. But about 1 tablespoon of the Pecorino Romano and 1 heaping teaspoon of the powdered blue cheese should be good enough. Next, we are just going to go ahead and take the egg white mixture, and we are going to mix this until it's well combined. And by the time we do that, the skillet should be nice and warm and ready to put the egg white on there. Okay, and this is what it's going to look like now that it is all mixed up. It's going to be a lot thicker the way that I made it this time compared to how I made it before, and one of the reasons why I like it on the thicker side is because for the purposes of making burgers, it's going to be a lot easier to shape it. If it's too liquidy, it's going to spread all over the pan and then it's going to be too wide for the burger, whereas if you make it thicker with this by adding more cheese, then you could shape it a lot better and shape it to the same size as these sirloin burgers. And we still have a couple more minutes before the skillet's going to be ready, so while we're waiting for the skillet to heat up, what we're going to do is take our burger bun. We're going to slice it in half, that way we can put the sirloin burger inside of it. There we go, burger bun is all chopped up and ready to fit the burger in. Let's just go ahead and spray our skillet with either MCT oil, ghee, or butter. I'm going to put a little bit more than you need. You don't really need to put that much. I like to go a little overkill with the MCT oil. And let's go ahead and take our bacon and put that on the skillet. And lastly, we will put the egg white and cheese mixture on these skillets as well. With the egg white and cheese mixture, what you can do is take a spoon and shape it to roughly the size of the burger that you have. That way it'll fit nicely on the bun. So let's just go ahead, take our spoon, and we are just going to flatten it out so that it is roughly the size of the burger patty. There we go. That's all good. And now we can go ahead and take our spatula burger, and we are going to go ahead and put these bad boys on the grill. As you can see, the barbecue is right where we want it, between 500 and 600 degrees. So now what we're going to do is the left and right burner, we are going to shut them off, and then we are going to lower the center 3 burners. That way we don't burn the burgers. And let's just go ahead, and we are going to take our burger patties, and we will come back in 4 minutes once they are ready to be flipped. And one thing that I forgot to mention was with the skillet, we preheated it by putting it at the lowest setting possible, which for my stove is a 2. Once we actually put the egg white and cheese mixture and the bacon strips on there, I ended up raising it to just above a 4. Depending on the stove that you have, you're going to have to play around with the different heat settings, but that's the way that it works for me. We're going to leave this here until we are ready to flip the burgers, which is going to be 4 minutes. We're going to flip it, leave it on there for 4 minutes, make our cheese mixture. Once that's all complete, then we can go ahead and assemble our burger. All right, it's coming up on 4 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and take our tongs and flip our bacon strips over. And we're going to do the same thing with the cheese, and then we're going to go ahead, go outside, and flip the burgers. All right, now let's head outside. As you can see, the temperature is still holding between 500 and 600 degrees, so we are just going to take our spatula, flip the burgers over. And now that that's all done, we can go ahead and dry. All right, now let's go back inside and get the cheese mixture ready. For the cheese mixture that we're going to use for the topping, we already have the salt, so we don't have to do that. Next, we're just going to put some Pecorino Romano and some blue cheese. For the Pecorino Romano, it'll be a little bit less than 1 teaspoon. You can add a little bit more if you prefer it more on the thick side. And for the powdered blue cheese, we're going to add 1 teaspoon. Again, if you prefer it more on the thick side, you can add a little bit more. If you prefer it more runny, you can add a little bit less. For this one over here, I'm going to do it a little bit more on the runny side because I like the way it tastes better for the purpose of making a burger. When I'm making my steaks with this same recipe, I do prefer it a little bit more thick, but for the burgers, I like it better when it's a little bit more runny. And time for the test to see if we made the cheese dip right. Yeah, it's right. I could talk to you guys for an hour. This stuff is not going to go anywhere. And let's just taste test. Beautiful. And it's been 8 minutes, so we're going to go ahead, put the burgers on the bun, and go ahead and dress our burger up. The temperature is still holding. Let's go ahead, take our burgers, put them on our carnivore bun. And let's go ahead, go inside, and put some cheese on these bad boys. And now that the burger's ready, we're going to go ahead, take our little egg white and cheese mixture, put that right on top of the burger. We'll go ahead and put this in the sink. And we're going to let the bacon cook for just a little bit longer, but let's shut that off. And let's take our cheese mixture and put that over the egg. We're just going to shape the cheese to the same size as the patty. It's going to be a little bit easier if you make the cheese more on the watery side. If it is thicker, you're going to have to work a little bit harder, but it's gonna come down to personal preference again. If you prefer it a little bit more on the thicker side, you're just gonna add more cheese. If you prefer it more runny, you are going to add less cheese. There we go, one more taste test. This is the best cheese sauce you're ever gonna have. Let's go ahead and take our bacon, put that on the burger. And lastly, we need the burger bun to close everything up. And here you have it, an egg and double bacon cheeseburger on a carnivore bun. I promise you this thing is amazing. You guys have to try this recipe. I'm gonna leave you guys for now because I really want to eat that. So that's it for today. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to smash that like button so I know to make more recipe videos in the future. And if you're either new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, as I will be uploading new videos every single day. And if you have any recipes that you would like me to try, go ahead, make your suggestions down in the comment section. Whatever comments get the most likes, I will attempt to make those types of recipes for you guys. That's it for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you again tomorrow.